You know, if you're a head case at all, it's going to get to you a little bit. But I'll tell you what, Josh Smith, undefeated 7-0. This kid is a tremendous athlete. So Scoggins is going to have his hands full tonight.
Yeah, you're right, Casey. I saw him at the weigh-ins, undefeated 7-0. Little jacked up looking guy. This guy, Josh the Jabberwocky Smith, did not come here to lose.
No, the Jabberwocky is something else, man. He has all sorts of skills. He can swing for the fences. He can get you to the ground. He has submission skills. He can do it all. But I'll tell you what, Scoggins here, he has the house behind him. And like you said, he's training with that UFC vet, his big brother, in the house and in his corner tonight. So I'll tell you what, it is anybody's.
Matchup. Yep, it's going to be a good one. Josh Smith now in the cage with fighting with North Carolina United Martial Arts out of Gastonia, North Carolina. He's been training.
And now his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, Jared the Psycho Scoggins.
Looks like some of the audience in attendance are so happy they've taken their shirts off and waving them around in the air like a helicopter. And enter Jared the Psycho Scoggins with the entire crowd behind him. He has trained his whole life with Revolution. His whole camp came with Revolution. According to head coach Jimmy Fowler, Jared the Psycho Scoggins has the fastest hands in the gym, and when you're talking about a gym like Revolution, that's something to boast about.
Well, exactly, like because you're talking about Justin Scoggins, his big brother, he's in that mix as well, and you know how fast that kid is.
Some of the training partners Jared has over Revolution are Cody Wilson, a name that I think a lot of people, if you haven't heard of now, you will in the future. I expect big things out of him, possibly even a berth on the Ultimate Fighter season coming up. Sarah McMahon, you've probably heard of her. She's a UFC women's martial artist, and she was just recently in a bout with one rowdy Ronda Rousey. You have Justin Scoggins, like Casey mentioned. You have Tanner the Hammer Saraceno, Jimmy Fowler, Chad Burns, Anthony Canzano, and a list of other killers. So definitely a great camp behind the Scoggins fighter. Said that his camp was good, said his weight cut was perfect.
We know this is a group, too, that has also been influenced years gone by Pitch Black. Of course, Justin Scoggins, as a child, was trained by Ray Thompson. So that's a style that they've also implemented into their game. It's sort of a core piece. And so when you've mixed that with the Revolution crew and the ground game of Jimmy Fowler, you get a very complete package right there.
That's a really good point, Casey. And, you know, his older brother, Justin, still, even though removed from training with Pitch Black, still employs that lead leg first style.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, 5 3-minute rounds for the vacant USFFC flyweight title. Introducing first, the fighter on my right, fighting out of the red corner, representing NC United Martial Arts of Gastonia, North Carolina. He is undefeated, 7 wins and 0 defeats. He's the current Fight Lab flyweight champion. Give it up for Josh the Jabberwocky Smith.
Now, when you're talking about Josh Smith, the first fight of
now his opponent, standing across the cage and fighting out of the blue corner. He fights for Revolution Mixed Martial Arts, Spartanburg, South Carolina. His record, 3 wins, 1 defeat. The current Valor Fights flyweight champion, Jared the Psycho Scoggins.
As I was about to say, Josh Smith, you know, the first bout of his career was a decision win.
Adam Ginsberg.
Okay, since then, he has been on, has finished every single one of his opponents by stoppage, by submission. He is a finisher to the nth degree.
Wow. Well, this is going to be an electric fight. The crowd on their feet and high anticipation for this one.
Scoggins with those hands low, that kickboxing style.
Yep, he has.
Of course, with tremendous reach and height advantage over Josh Smith. But Smith's been contending with that his entire career. Whoa, it looked like it slashed across the eye of Josh Smith. Look, he's still wincing there.
Gave him a little haircut with that, and his eye is in trouble. Looked like that may indeed be the case.
Yeah.
Jared Scoggins showing some fast hand speed and foot speed early on in this fight.
And you know, eye problems, that's not something that you need this early in the fight with someone like Jared Scoggins.
Jared definitely using that lead leg as a weapon. You know, his hands are low. You'll see his brother do that sometimes. You'll see a similar style from the Thompson brother, Stephen Thompson.
Look at this, so fast. These guys are unbelievable. It's like we're on fast forward here.
I mean, these guys are in the Matrix, Casey. The speed is unbelievable. Jared's ability to get out of those punches, circle out, and then land some strikes of his own, looking good so far. Good leg kick. Can Josh get the takedown?
Now I'm looking at the ribs of Jared Scoggins. It looks like he's taking a shot of some sort. They're low, some red along the rib cage. It doesn't seem to affect him at all, but it's interesting to notice there.
Jared Scoggins, an incredible competitor, but not unbeatable. He is coming off a loss. He had a tough decision loss down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, not too long ago. Looking to bounce back tonight in Greenville at the TD Convention Center for USFFC 22. The trademark Scoggins tattoo along the back, just like his older brother, UFC fighter Justin Scoggins. Great spinning kick, able to connect a little bit. Jared Scoggins landing some good strikes against his opponent, Josh Smith. Casey, we've seen a lot of leg kicks tonight.
Oh, here we go. Great takedown there by Jared Scoggins into a very dominant position over the undefeated Josh Smith.
This is that time where Jared uses that jiu-jitsu.
We could be setting up an arm triangle right here. This is not a good position for Josh Smith whatsoever.
Jared needs to get over to the other side, get his knee over, and find himself on the other side of Josh Smith into a half mount, side mount.
Scoggins creating a tremendous amount of pressure there, but still look for him to pass over to the opposite side if he does that.
This could be an early night for Josh Smith if Jared can get over. Content, though, with being on that side.
Look at this, Josh Smith escapes. And now Jared Scoggins with relentless ground and pound.
Wow, what a first round for Jared the Psycho Scoggins, showing a little bit of everything from hand speed, leg kicks, takedowns, and some good jiu-jitsu at the end.
Well, just a touch ahead of Josh Smith in every range tonight so far, and a lot of it has to do with that range. You know, in addition to having the height and the reach advantage over Josh Smith, he is so unorthodox and so hard to time.
Yeah, and the kid's got power. I mean, I'm glad this is going to be a 5 round fight. We're going to get to see a lot of action here in the flyweight division.
Well, it could be 5 rounds.
It could be
There's
5
so
rounds.
much explosiveness here. Anything could happen at any time.
Jared Scoggins doing a great job mixing in his feints with his hands, staying out of the range of Josh Smith, utilizing what is probably a small reach advantage over him.
And listen to that crowd. They're still going nuts here in between rounds. All right, the Jabberwocky pacing about. He's ready to get back in there and perhaps turn the tide of this fight, because the first round was all Jared Scoggins.
Jared Scoggins, low hands, very confident in his stand-up ability to keep your hands that low like that.
You know, and if you possess the speed and the skill to do it, it can really set up and neutralize a lot of the attacks of your opponents. They don't really know what to expect. Muhammad Ali did it, you know that.
Yep. And in a way, it almost baits your opponent into coming in with a false sense of security.
Nice, that was a big head kick. Josh Smith with a very dynamic move, and it's followed up by 2 dynamic moves by Jared Scoggins.
Jared Scoggins going for a takedown and unable to secure it. Now has a, in the lock of Josh Smith. This might be Josh Smith's opportunity to
look at that, beautiful transition to the leg of Jared Scoggins, right off of the front face lock.
Jared Scoggins getting out, creating some space, and back into the center of the cage they meet.
Well, I'll say this, That is the style that Josh Smith needs to employ to be successful. He does not need to stay on the outside where Jared Scoggins can land those sick round kicks.
Jared Scoggins has the reach advantage, might also have the speed advantage. Left straight out of nowhere, tags Josh Smith, makes him think twice about it. Those hands are so low, Casey, but that's by design. That is on purpose.
Nice, and look at this Josh Smith closing the distance upon the break, looking for a big overhand right. Trying to make this fight a little dirty.
Jared Scoggins looking to pick his
Oh,
shots.
beautiful catch there by Josh Smith, but Scoggins so slick. Right off the cage and back to the center of the cage.
You know, there's a lot of, as you might guess, striking similarities between Jared and his brother, UFC fighter Justin Scoggins. Both so light on their feet, bouncing around, never stopping, never getting off the toes of their feet.
Absolutely. Beautiful underhook here by Jared Scoggins, looking for the second takedown of this bout.
Speed, such a factor in the flyweight division here at USFFC 22. And speed kills in a lot of the divisions of martial arts, but when you got guys this fast, you're in for what could be an electrifying fight. So far, that's exactly what we're getting between these two competitors here tonight.
Well, undoubtedly, although they are in one of the smallest weight divisions in mixed martial arts today, they've both proven that they have both finishing power and submission ability.
Not to mention cardio for days. When you get to some of the smaller weight classes, cardio is less of a factor.
Well, there's not a lot to move around there.
Josh Smith maybe picking up a little ground in that second round. However, I think Jared was able to control the striking exchanges. Did not necessarily land too many big shots, but seemed to get the edge of some of the exchanges that took place.
Well, Scoggins is the hometown boy, so you got to think that he's probably taken that second round, just like you said. It was pretty close. It was kind of close, but again, Scoggins controlling the distance and the range as he saw fit, and that really speaks worlds to the judges.
At this point in time, Casey, does Josh Smith need to start looking to get this fight down to the ground, or do you think his stand-up is sneaky enough to where he can break that defense and land some shots?
Well, he's been unable to really get a rhythm going with his strikes. You saw a couple of those unorthodox methods, and they were followed up, and answered by Jared Scoggins with unorthodox methods of his own. So, it's really hard to trick the trickster here. I think Josh Smith needs to close the distance, stay inside, and control from there. And if he can get the takedown control, then do that. Because I think that the takedown is really going to be a defining portion. That last round, if a takedown had occurred, I think that would have signaled the winner of that round.
That could have been the difference right there. Here we are at round 3, championship bout. Josh Smith, the champion. Jared Scoggins, the challenger.
And that's one thing, Josh Smith, he's going to have to be willing to take one to give one.
Yep.
When Scoggins lands a big shot, he sort of backs out of there, and then he has no chance in the world of landing. He's going to have to take one and keep coming forward, bull his way in, and do work in that method.
Josh Smith, the more compact of the two fighters, perhaps packing a little bit bigger punch. Can't say that for sure, but he definitely has some heat in those hands. Looking at the fan poll that we did, it looks like Jared Scoggins enjoys a pretty hefty fan prediction over the victory. He's at 87% of the fans think Jared Scoggins will win. 13% of the fans think that the champion will walk away.
And that's absolutely crazy because, at 3-1, that's far cry from the 7-0 that Josh Smith has. We thought Josh Smith was going to be on top here. He ends up on his back. So squirrely is Jared Scoggins.
Both these guys with tremendous speed, and you're right. Josh Smith, knowing that he's undefeated and the champion, probably came in here with a little chip in his shoulder thinking that he was being counted out of this fight before it even started.
Well, Josh Smith always comes to win, but so does Jared Scoggins. Jared Scoggins passing the guard of Josh Smith, and it could be the start of a Von Flue choke here. Josh Smith needs to let go of the neck of Scoggins. It's doing nothing for him here. It can get him in a bad spot.
That Von Flue choke is one of those ones you don't even notice happen until the ref's pulling them off.
Oh, here we go. Beautiful transition there by Josh Smith back to his vertical base.
Jared Scoggins imposing a physicality onto Josh Smith here up against the cage. Looking for a single. He's got the ankle up. Can he trip him down? And he does.
Back down to the mat is Josh Smith looking for the submissions, but I'm going to tell you, Jared Scoggins, he trains with Jimmy Fowler. That's a small guy who knows how to put on submissions. He's savvy to a lot of those.
Yeah, we talked about Jimmy Fowler earlier in the fight card. Very Marcelo Garcia-esque. Slippery, sneaky, tricky, and lethal.
Well, he actually spent some time up there with Marcelo Garcia recently. Both he and Sarah McMahon.
That's going to be a great experience. As we start to wind down the third round, you hear the chant of Psycho coming from the Revolution fan base here at the TD Convention Center in Greenville for USFFC 22, and Josh Smith spending a large portion of this round on his back, looking for ways to create space. Unable to do so, Jared the Psycho Scoggins smothering and relentless with his ground assault.
Oh, here we go. Scoggins possibly looking to finish. He's definitely making his mark known by the judges. Oh, look at this. Josh Smith wincing. Yeah.
What happened? What happened there? Looked like Josh Smith is in severe pain, but I can't exactly see why. Over in the corner, he's wincing, and maybe that was just frustration from, being held down and beat up a little bit for an entire round. Can't really tell exactly what happened. Either way, he's on the stool and looking to come back out.
There has to be frustration in the corner of Josh Smith right now. Jared Scoggins, in my estimation, has taken all 3 rounds pretty decisively in the first and the third, and most likely the second. So, Josh Smith, that corner needs to really be formulating a method for him to get in there and finish this fight off.
So, Casey, when you're in an MMA fight and you come in with a game plan, how easy is it to mid-fight change your game plan?
Well, again, you have to be ready for anything. If you're ready to do a bunch of grappling and you're not able to get a hold of the guy, then your striking is going to have to suffice. You're going to have to get in there and get dirty, and it's not going to be as clean as you planned. So that is a huge portion of fighting. And likewise, if you're ready to strike and you've not prepared yourself with the clinch work in the wrestling, you could get really, really tired really quick. Now, look at this. Josh Smith on his feet, coming forward with strikes, looking possibly the best he has in this entire fight.
Looks like he put a good left hand on the chin of Jared Scoggins there up against the cage, now trying to secure a single.
And it could be that Josh Smith was laying off a little bit in the first 3, trying to conserve energy for these championship rounds, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Look at this, Scoggins looking for the guillotine. Josh Smith with the first takedown of the fight for him.
It might be difficult to lock the guillotine choke in from this position. However, Josh Smith now in probably one of the more advantageous positions he's found himself in thus far in the matchup.
Scoggins up on his elbow, looking to pull himself back to the vertical base.
Scoggins,
he's got that seagull.
Yep, he's going to come up and try to bring it with him, bring him down with him.
Here we go, Josh Smith with the switch, though.
Jared almost smiling, knowing he got the reversal. What's Josh Smith has a leg, kind of an awkward position.
Yeah, what sort of octopus are we looking at right here?
It's working, though. It's keeping Jared
Absolutely,
unable.
Look at this. A few hammer fists.
Jared unable to do much. He's got both legs essentially trapped. But not anymore.
Oh, here we go. Josh Smith may be coming out on top again. The most competitive round of the fight so far.
However, if Jared has indeed taken the first 3, Josh Smith's going to have to do a lot in these last 2.
Absolutely. Josh Smith in a bad spot here. Scoggins coming on strong.
Jared's dad, Chris, one of the proudest people in the building tonight, over there leading the chant for Scoggins.
Oh, here we go. Scoggins looking for the rear naked choke, possibly. Not quite the positioning, but definitely keeping Josh Smith in check.
Throwing some good shots from underneath. Jared Scoggins, Josh Smith trying to power his way up, but unable to do so.
And now he leans over into the hook. The secure that Jared Scoggins has, now it's going to be even more difficult for his escape.
Jared Scoggins has the back, but not a lot of space to make stuff happen. Now he's going to try to slide
Here
in.
we go, looking for that finish. This is not a good position for Josh Smith.
Doesn't quite have the space to get that other arm up. He may try to lock this in with just a gable grip from the side. Not going to quite be enough. Now attempting to flatten Josh Smith out.
And Scoggins still in a very dominant position and control.
Scoggins, leg forward, chin sticking out, hands down, and it's all by design.
It's do or die time for Josh Smith moving into this 5th round. Big time.
I remember Jack Dempsey, an old boxer from the early 20s, when doing his autobiography, told the guy that wrote it, or doing his biography, told the guy that wrote it and said, tell the people that read this that I learned everything that I ever learned from my losses. And he said that a champion is someone that gets up when he can't. Josh Smith is the champion, and he is down, and he has got to find a way to get up here in the 5th round of this matchup.
That's what it's all about. It makes for a very exciting and interesting prospect right here for this 5th round, the championship round to decide it all.
You know, Jared Scoggins has his own set of pressures that might not be immediately evident. Being the younger brother of a UFC star and talent, there's a lot of pressure on him to also follow in the footsteps and fulfill the family tradition.
And make his own way.
And also get out of that shadow and make his own way, like you said. So that's something that he's got to deal with coming into this fight, and doing a great job so far, up probably 4 rounds. Josh Smith undeterred, throwing his hands up, ready to get this 5th round started.
Josh Smith does not want the first loss of his career. He is coming out, guns blazing, ready to rock. You can see it in his face. The crowd continuing to chant. Beautiful takedown there by Jared Scoggins on top.
You know, this is smart play by Jared Scoggins. He probably has this one locked up in the bank. Don't need to come in here and take too many risks. Casey, do you think that is oftentimes the strategy of a fighter up 4 rounds? Do you go into the 5th wanting to please the crowd, or do you go in there looking to take as few risks possible?
I don't know that you should go out there to take as few risks as possible, because then you could possibly regress. You can move backwards, and you don't want to do that. You want to continue your momentum, because it's dangerous. You can lose the fight at any time. I think what you do is you progress forward, and you know you're just very careful. You take your time and make sure that everything you do is done with precision.
Josh Smith looking to throw a triangle up from the bottom position. Unsuccessful. Jared Scoggins able to maintain great posture.
Oh, here we go. Smith looking for a submission.
Jared
Scoggins sees it a mile away.
Yep, saw it coming.
A mile away.
Hooked his own arm out of there and is now in a great position, landing shots to the body of the champion, Josh the Jabberwocky Smith. Muscles him down.
I'll tell you what, this is icing on the cake right here. Scoggins looking for the finish. Like you said, he's not holding back. He's going for it. He wants a submission finish. He wants to stop Josh Smith. Not only deliver his first loss, but definitively defeat him.
Jared Scoggins not satisfied with just the choke. He wants to pull his leg up too. Choke him with his own leg. What a great display of grappling prowess from Jared Scoggins here, as well as the stand-up game. Impressed by both of these guys, but Jared Scoggins certainly showing a dominant style here tonight at USFFC 22.
To the delight of the fans.
Notice Jared has strategically brought his man into the corner of his own fan base.
Oh, here we go. Momentarily.
Jared Smith
here we
on
go,
top
look
now.
at this.
He's got some time and maybe a chance to make something happen here at the
Josh
end of
Smith
the
looks
fight.
like he's got a reverse triangle of some sort on. I can't see from this vantage point exactly what it is, but he's going for some sort of lock, possibly setting up the Kimura lock.
I think he does have an inverted triangle. because it looks like Jared's left arm is trapped in there somewhere. And that's it.
Wow, they ended the fight. Too little, too late. Great fight here. And in my estimation, we're going to have ourselves a new champion in Jared Scoggins.
I think that's going to be the case. We'll have to wait. The judges will render their decision here shortly. What an amazing fight for the 125-pound championship between Josh the Jabberwocky Smith and Jared the Psycho Scoggins. You know, this one may have gone to decision, but neither fighter tried to take it there. Both of them throwing with violence throughout the entirety of this 5-round matchup. Both of them looking to finish on the ground. Both of them displaying a strong showcase of grappling skills. And which one has the judges decided is the victor? We will know here in just a minute. Again, it's an honor to be here. I'm Matt Tomlinson, broadcasting cage side alongside with my buddy Casey Oxendine. Having a blast. He's now up there to get a post-fight interview with the winner, whoever that may be.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards for the decision. The judges score this fight 50-45, 49-46, and 49-46. All for your winner by unanimous decision and new USFFC flyweight champion, Jared the Psycho Scoggins.
And we have a new champion. Josh Smith showing great sportsmanship, raising the hand of the man that took the belt from him. What a great competitor. Both these guys, great competitors. Congratulations to Jared the Psycho Scoggins coming into a 5-round war, securing the victory, the belt, and the love of the crowd without a doubt. We have some happy Scoggins fans here in the arena tonight at USFFC 22. There's his brother Justin Scoggins over the side to my left. Proud brother watching his brother Jared.
I am here with your new flyweight champion, Jared the Psycho Scoggins. Brother, that was a tremendous win over an outstanding athlete in Josh Smith. Of course, he was 7-0 going into this fight. He's fought up and down the East Coast, but you got in there and you got it done for a majority of this fight. Talk about it.
It's a good fight, man. You know, he's a sick wrestler. I knew that getting into it, and he brought it. And good fight, man.
He spent a lot of time on top, inside of the guard of Josh Smith. You saw that he went after the submissions, the arm bars, the triangle chokes. You handled that exquisitely. Let me ask you this, was that Jimmy Fowler's doing right there, his assistance?
Absolutely, man. I couldn't have done it without my team.
All right, so now you are the flyweight champion. What is next for Jared Scoggins?
Whatever, man. Whoever wants to fight, I'm here.
All right. Everybody in the house, I don't have to say it. Give it up for your new USFFC flyweight champion, Jared the Psycho Scoggins.
Jared the Psycho Scoggins, the new USFFC 125-pound champion. Dominating performance here in the building tonight. And I see his dad, Chris, ecstatic over to the side. I see his brother, Justin, also very happy about the win, and this is a great night here for the Scoggins family.
Wait. Who won the fight, guys? Who was it? No. Now,